let's begin the conversation. I mean, it has gone beyond pockets of protest. This has become a large-scale demonstration by young Nigerians and are asking for the reformation of the Nigerian police force, especially the arm involved in the special anti-robbery operations. But from the governor's point of view, what are your next line of action?
Thank you very much, the NSAS movement, which has been propelled by the disaffection generally felt by the younger people and many Nigerians, for that matter, it's something that is commendable in the sense that it has also led to a clear position being taken by the police authorities. We met with the Inspector General of Police yesterday. The governors of the 36 states held a meeting with the Inspector General of Police, and we endorsed his commitment to reforming the police as an institution, which is really what the NSAS movement are calling for. That's really what is propelling the action they are taking. However, governors feel that the way to go about that is not to condemn in totality all activities of the FSAS. As a matter of fact, my colleagues from the northern parts of the country feel that FSAS has been quite effective in tackling banditry, in addressing armed robbery, and even in some cases, as the governor of Borno State made clear in our meeting yesterday, in assisting in dealing with the problems of insurgency. So we must be careful because there is no one-size-fits-all solution to the challenges of insecurity in our country. We need a broad security architecture to tackle this, and the reform of the police must be part of that reform of the Nigerian security architecture. And one of the decisions we took yesterday is that those who have been found culpable of human rights abuse and violations within the FSAS unit must be brought to book. And in every state, we also agreed that we should put in place commissions of inquiry to enable people ventilate their criticisms and concerns, and also specific acts of violations of human rights could be brought before such commissions of inquiry at the state level. But over the long term, we feel that we still need more conversations, more consultations, and the Nigerian Police Council, which is a statutory body of the Constitution, must meet more regularly because that's part of its responsibility to regulate the activities of the police, in addition to ensuring that the Nigerian police really and truly protect the citizens. And the Inspector General of Police expressed his own commitment to that in his meeting with us yesterday.
Governor Fayemi, if you look at what some of these young Nigerians are saying, some of them said they felt embarrassed that 2 days or a day after they asked for the disbandment of SARS, what they got was somewhat what you can call a rechristening of that unit, and now called SWAT. And they are saying outrightly they do not want it. So we've now found ourselves chasing not one hashtag, two hashtags now. Hashtag NSAS started. Now we have hashtag NSWAT. So it does look like what the Nigerian youths want is more than what the Nigerian government is bringing to the table. Where do you go from here as a leader when they said we do not want the manner in which an approach of the government in tackling these issues?
Well, so actually, it's not just the young people who felt that the swiftness of replacing FSAS with F12 might be seen as precipitate. We also observed similarly in the meeting we held with the Inspector General of Police yesterday. However, every single issue brought about by our young protesters has been responded to by Mr. President in his speech and by the Inspector General of Police in its action. Are these adequate? Not necessarily. And that is why it's important that we engage and get to the bottom of this. This is, in my view, not just an NSAS or NSAC movement. I think there is a sense in which our younger people are telling us that they have concerns about the quality of governance that they are getting. And it looks like it's a shifting goalpost. Once one issue is dealt with, then they then move to another aspect that might be of concern to them. And let's face it, these are young people. Some of us have been young and have been involved in movement on the barricades. So there's nothing that they're doing that is fundamentally wrong. Any young person should be involved in movement for change. And that, I think, is what they are asking for. However, in asking for change, they must be careful not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not everything that is bad with policing. However, policing has to be more accountable and more transparent in its operations to the citizens. There's no question about that. And I think that message has been delivered loud and clear. And the president has demonstrated that he is responsive to the concerns expressed by the younger ones. And the Inspector General of Police has also, in my view, expressed commitment to reform. And we need to just go into the nitty-gritty details of that reform. What should it entail? What does it really mean? How do we get accountability mechanisms in place beyond just what is on offer currently?
Governor Fayemi, if you look at it, you did mention something earlier where you said it does look like it's so many things that are being brought to the table. This looks to me like a socio-political agitation. Issues of governance have also been brought to the fore by some of the protesters. It does look like they're calling out the political class in the country over the activities and the manner in which the country is being run. Does this signal something for you? Is it something that you're familiar with? Because I know that when you were younger, Governor Fayemi, you were on the street, you were an agitator also for reforms in the country. Does this signal something for you? Does this ring a bell to you that maybe there is some kind of political revolution in the offing?
Well, absolutely. I was on the streets. I was at the barricades. I protested for change. I was involved in anti-military, pro-democracy activism. And I would like to think that my involvement in politics is still an extension of what I did in those days. I don't see myself any less an activist now that I'm a politician. So there's nothing wrong in what the younger ones are doing. I think we ought to even encourage them to ask more questions, to put our feet to fire, to hold us more accountable. They elected us to office, and there's no question that we should be responsive and responsible to those who put us in office. However, in doing that, I think it's also important for them to be absolutely clear about what they want. It shouldn't just be agitation for its own sake, but agitation with a purpose to getting results. And I hope this leaderless movement can become more organized, more cohesive in putting their views strongly across the table and even getting more involved. We can't ignore them. 65% of the population of this country is under 30. So it is a serious segment of our population, and we must pay attention to what they're telling us as political leaders.